Welcome back to Only Talk Sports, where we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, Week 11 in the NFL season is over, and let's break down all these games and the results and see what I think about them. On Thursday Night Football, the Tennessee Titans beat the Green Bay Packers 27-17. The Titans are now 7-3, and the Packers are 4-7. Ryan Tannehill had 333 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, so he played well. And for Aaron Rodgers on the Packers side, he had 227 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough for Green Bay to get the win, and they are really struggling this season. On Sunday, Atlanta Falcons beat the Chicago Bears 27-24. The Falcons are 5-6, and the Bears are 3-8. The Bears are really trying this season. They've been really competitive in a lot of games, but they have just not found ways to win. Justin Fields, he had a decent day. He had 153 yards, a touchdown, an interception, 85 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And on the Falcons side, Marcus Mariota had 131 yards and a touchdown, but the Falcons defense was able to stop the Bears just enough to get the win. The Buffalo Bills beat the Cleveland Browns 31-23. The Bills are now 7-3, and the Browns are 3-7. Jacoby Brissett had 324 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Browns, and Josh Allen had 197 yards and a touchdown for the Bills. But the Bills also had a decent rushing attack in this game. They were able to beat the Browns 31-23. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Indianapolis Colts 17-16. The Eagles are 9-1, and the Colts are 4-6-1. The Eagles are kind of struggling right now, and they were able to beat the Colts, but it was not a dominant effort like some of the results they've had earlier in the season. Jalen Hurts had 190 yards and a touchdown and 86 rushing yards and a touchdown, so he had a decent day. And Matt Ryan for the Colts at 213 yards, no touchdown passes or picks, but the Eagles were able to squeak out the win. The New England Patriots beat the New York Jets 10-3. The Jets have kind of slipped a little bit. Now both of these teams are 6-4. For the Jets, Zach Wilson only had 77 passing yards, and some are questioning whether he should be the starting quarterback still. And Matt Jones had 246 yards through the air, but a big punt return for a touchdown was the big result at the end of the game for the Patriots to get the win over the Jets. The New Orleans Saints beat the Los Angeles Rams 27-20. The Saints are now 4-7, and the Los Angeles Rams are 3-7. And for the Rams, Matthew Stafford, 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. And for the Saints, Andy Dalton at 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had a pretty good afternoon, and the Saints were able to beat the Rams, and that's a big win for the Saints. The Detroit Lions beat the New York Giants 31-18. The Lions finally got a much-needed win. They're 4-6, and they're actually playing better football than they have in the past. And the Giants finally are starting to slip a little bit after they started out hot this season. The Lions quarterback Jared Goff had 165 yards, and the Giants quarterback Daniel Jones had 341 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But the Lions were able to get the win over the Giants. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Carolina Panthers 13-3. The Ravens are 7-3, and the Panthers are 3-8. The Panthers are really struggling on offense this season. Baker Mayfield returned for the Carolina Panthers, but it wasn't enough. He didn't play too well. He had 196 yards and 2 picks, and the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson had 209 yards and an interception. But the Ravens were able to stop anything the Panthers were doing on offense, and the Ravens got the win. The Washington Commanders beat the Houston Texans 23-10. The Commanders are over 500. They're 6-5. The Texans are 1-8-1. Taylor Heineke had 191 yards through the air, and Texans quarterback Davis Mills had 169 yards and 2 interceptions. But the Commanders got the win, and they're having a pretty decent season. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the Denver Broncos 22-16. The Raiders are 3-7, and the Broncos are 3-7. Both teams are really struggling this season, and the Raiders were able to get the win in overtime. Derek Carr at 307 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Russell Wilson at 247 yards, no touchdown and no picks. Both these teams are really struggling, but the Raiders got a much-needed win. The Dallas Cowboys demolished the Minnesota Vikings 40-3. They moved to 7-3, and the Vikings moved to 8-2. This game right here is a complete outlier. Either the Vikings have been finding ways to win, and they're not as good as the record suggests, or the Cowboys just played much better than the way they've been playing this season, because Dak Prescott had 276 yards and 2 touchdowns, and on the Vikings side, Kirk Cousins only had 105 yards through the air, but the Cowboys dominated on offense and defense, and they got a huge win, the best performance of the day of any NFL team. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 37-30. The Bengals are 6-4, and the Steelers are 3-7. The Bengals are playing pretty decent football right now. Joe Burrow had 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and Kenny Pickett had 265 yards and a touchdown, so he played pretty well too. But for the Bengals, they got a good win, and they have a decent shot of making the playoffs if they continue to win. And on Sunday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Los Angeles Chargers 30-27. The Chiefs are 8-2. The Chargers are 5-5. And the Chiefs are playing really good football. Patrick Mahomes had 329 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert had 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are playing really good on offense. And the defense for the Chiefs is doing pretty good as well. And they were able to get a close win over the Chargers. Even though they're 5-5, are still having a pretty good season. And on Monday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Arizona Cardinals 38-10. The 49ers are 6-4. The Cardinals are 4-7. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo at 228 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the 49ers really play good on offense in this game. The Arizona Cardinals really struggled in this game. Colt McCoy had 218 yards and an interception. They even brought in Trace McSorley, who had 59 yards and an interception. While Kyler Murray is out with an injury right now, the Cardinals are really struggling, and their playoff hopes are almost over. But the 49ers have really turned their season around, and they played great on Monday Night Football. Now, those are the Week 11 results in the NFL. A lot of teams are starting to show whether they deserve to be in the playoffs, and it's going to be very interesting to see which teams do make the playoffs or not. Comment down below what you think about the results in Week 11 in the NFL and what you think about the playoff picture and how it's going to shake out. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below, and I will see you next time.